My name is Roxanne Cornebise. I'm the school counselor here in town at Jefferson Elementary School, which is a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and then Ashmore Elementary School, which is kindergarten through 4th grade, and I also do preschool as well. Before I was a counselor here in Charleston, I've been here for about 10 years, I taught in inner city Chicago, 7th and 8th grade. It was Rogers Park, it was the west side, the north side by the lake, but still in the city. In a gang-infested area, we had Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, the Folk. I'm from Charleston, and so when I went up there, it was pretty shocking to me to go up there. In fact, I called my parents the first night and asked them how I could get out of my teaching contract. They didn't let me. So I taught up there for quite a while, and really decided after meeting with these kids and seeing all the problems they had that I wanted to come back and get my degree in counseling. That's how I ended up back here in Charleston, because I had no intention of ever coming back to Charleston. I'm from Charleston. But I think what I realized, it doesn't matter whether you're inner city Chicago or rural America, we really have the same problems. We just maybe look different. And that was a really wonderful experience for me, because I think sometimes we think that we're so different we can't understand the problems in urban America and rural America. Yes, there's differences, but I think the crux is basically the same. When I got my job at Jefferson, my principal sat me down and she said, I want you to teach character ed. So I started teaching character ed about 8 years ago. And I didn't really find any curriculum that I liked, because you had to teach it over 3 days, and you had to have all these supplies, and it cost $1,000, and you had to go there for this weekend. I think people know what I'm talking about. Our districts don't have money for all of that. So I started writing my own curriculum. And I think because I was a middle school teacher, I knew I better hold their interest or they were going to check out. And when I was looking for curriculum, I ran across a bunch of different things, which you're going to see today, and I kind of hodgepodged them all together. But of course, I never paid for any of them. I just went to their sites. And what I'm showing you today is the conclusions that I've come to being in the front line, teaching character ed, teaching conflict resolution. I think we ask our schools and our students to do more than we ask of ourselves. I think it's easy to look at schools as a microcosm of society and find out all the problems and then tell them they need to solve them. But when outside of the school day, we do the opposite. And that's what I'm going to show you here. And so this is about teaching your students how to be upstanders, but really it's about teaching the parents, the staff, your community, to holding them to the same standards that you're holding the students to. And get them to put the mirror in front of their face and say, am I doing what I'm asking everybody else to do? Let's see if this is supposed to work. First of all, we need to talk about bystanders and the bystander effect. And I have a little short clip here to explain what the bystander effect is and about the group. The thing about bullying is not exclusive to America. It's in every country, and it's actually not exclusive to humans. We find it in all animal species. And so the idea of the bystander effect, or the group, is really pretty much innate in us. I think Don Dawson was going to turn the lights off for me. Don, we're going to hit, yep. I think we
Place like this street in New York City. If you were unfortunate enough to be the victim of a crime or taken ill unexpectedly, you might think that surrounded by all these people, someone would intervene. After all, isn't there safety in numbers? Psychologists say no. Research suggests that often a victim is less likely to receive assistance when surrounded by a group rather than a single bystander. When people are in a crowd, it's easier to pass the buck. It's what psychologists call the diffusion of responsibility. Liverpool Street Station in London, a busy thoroughfare for commuters. Unknown to these passers-by, Peter is an actor. As part of an experiment on bystander apathy, he's pretending to be ill. How long before he gets help? Helping would be inconvenient or even risky. He lies there for more than 20 minutes and no one raises an eyebrow.
It's always very distressing to watch situations like this where people are obviously suffering and no one's actually helping them. But what we have here is two conflicting rules. One is the rule that we ought to help, and the other is the rule that we ought to do what everybody else is doing. And here you have a group of, effectively a group of strangers who are exerting the pressure not to intervene, not to help. And it's very difficult to rebel.
Ruth, another actor, takes Peter's place. How long before she receives help? Four minutes later, and 34 people have passed without stopping.
Well, people don't really want to know. They just haven't got the time. Well, they have got the time, they just don't want to get involved.
Unwittingly, these strangers have silently formed a temporary group with a rule: don't get involved. They're afraid to stand out from the crowd and won't take action if no one else does. This woman has clearly spotted Ruth, but she conforms to the rule and does nothing. Watch what happens, though, when someone else helps.
You alright? You alright?
Yes, thank you.
Sure, you look a bit slippy, you know.
She suddenly finds herself in a different group with a new rule: to help.
You want to sit up? You alright, yeah? Sure.
First I thought she was dead. Then I sort of checked to see if she was breathing or not. And I looked around and I couldn't believe that no one had noticed her because there was a bloke that sat there just absorbed in reading a newspaper.
This time, Peter's dressed as a respectable gentleman. Now that his dress is in keeping with those around him, how long before he's rescued?
How are you today?
6 seconds. She even calls him sir, and suddenly everyone's a good Samaritan.
Do you suffer from epilepsy?
No.
Why you're lying on the floor in the rain?
Because he's part of the right group. Everyone wants to help.
I was just hate to be in his position of feeling ill, and nobody helped him walking past, so I just like to check that he was okay. And I thought, well, it's wet, so he must really be up in the ruined suit anyway.
So, the bystander effect. Yes, please. Let me put it in perspective. If you have children, have you ever been with your children at Walmart and you see another parent screaming at their kids, grabbing them by the arm, throwing them in the car, and your own child is like, "Mommy, Mommy, do you see that?" And you're like, "Honey, look, come on, let's go." Right? Or you see another parent at a sporting event getting in their kid's face, telling them what a loser they are. Are they a wimp or a pussy? And your own children hear it. And you would never say that to your own children. But you walk away and say, come on, let's go. But you know, society says we were created, America, on independence. You need to let people raise their kids the way they want to raise them. Say what they want to their kids. You don't intervene. So as schools, we have these kids for 6 hours. Parents have them for the other 18. They have them on the weekends. They have them in the summer. They have them on holidays. So who really has more influence over a child's behavior? Right, I mean, their parents, their community, the other places. So, and then you can say, yeah, but you don't want to, it's dangerous, something might happen. But you have to realize that if that's what we're modeling for our children, why wouldn't they do that in school? And if we're doing it ourselves, our own students probably see that within us. And so when society looks at schools, because we're an easy target, and says, why aren't you solving that? Why haven't you figured that out? I want to show them this. I'm like, well, why haven't we fixed that? I mean, okay. Oh, we passed a law for that, the Good Samaritan law, which says you can't walk past somebody dying. And did you notice the woman said, well, I thought she was dead. And I thought, well, if you thought she was dead, why did you walk past? Because if you're dead, it's okay, I can't help you now. Right? So the bystander effect, Google it, you'll find lots of research on it. Now what I found really interesting when I did this is that a group of high school students secretly filmed the bystander effect in their high school. Don, you want to, Vanna? Thank you. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Oh, sorry.
Teacher, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
So, the high school exactly mimicked the experiment in Liverpool, almost to the T. Human behavior. The group, the pressure to not intervene is part of the group to walk away. But if you look in Liverpool, the minute somebody stood up, it gave someone else the permission to stand with them. They created another group called the Upstanders.